Hello, Bl'Artagnan here with Malodorus Knight, the Lena Winter Festival Lufenia Plus fight. We're bringing a team of Y'shtola, Balthier, and Zack. Before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, you know the drill. I'm really enjoying this fight, I gotta say. It's very engaging, not super easy, but also not like cripplingly, challenging either. Like it really hits the sweet spot where there are mechanics I want to engage with. They're, challenges to overcome, but it feels attainable. I don't feel like I'm being punished for it, So let's get into it. For this first wave, we're actually swapping Zack out and bringing in the twins friend, because that orb can be a problem for certain teams. Not for this one, but the main thing I wanted to do is just get through this wave, because the turn count is not restrictive, but the bosses are pretty darn tanky. So we're starting things off with the twins, just doing twin stuff, absolutely annihilating these Malodorus. I figured, if I was going to bring a friend in, I might as well do one who basically four-shots the enemy on this wave, so that in the next wave, who are Imperil immune, we can kind of bring our other tools to bear. It's going to be interesting seeing Y'shtola in play, because the bosses are magic immune, and or magic absorb, and Imperil immune, so getting Y'shtola through that's going to be pretty interesting. I wanted Y'shtola because partly because I thought she'd work really well with Zack and Balthier, and partly because I thought it'd be funny to bring Y'shtola through this stage given the immunity situation. I wonder why they made... actually, I think I know. My suspicion as to why the whole Imperil immune magic absorb all that, my suspicion is that it's intended to lock out Beatrix, because I think Beatrix would have been really good here otherwise. And she's been killing it, and I think they wanted to kind of promote some diversity and sell Lena and all that jazz. So that's my working theory, is that the setup here is intended to cut out Beatrix, since it would prevent her, several pieces of her kit. I have this, I suspect she might still work on a team with Bart's, just because there's parts of her kit that aren't elemental, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someone will end up running her here. Who knows if that'll work. But anyway, to business. Zack is an absolute wrecking truck, if you're not already aware. I haven't blued him, but it's a very tempting prospect, I gotta say. Because he puts out some impressive numbers. Even non-blue, you're going to be seeing. He's going to be putting out like Vaughn-level numbers without the blue armor, which is kind of nuts. And Y'shtola is basically his best friend. Shoutouts to my boy Goose for showing me just how devastating that combination is. Balthier himself is doing some solid damage too. Both of these guys are folks who I am really enjoying playing with now. You'll see here I'm occasionally using Y'shtola's stone to actually position the enemies just where I want them, dump some HP damage, and get some rebreaks because of that magic absorb. So we are we've passed the 80% threshold here. Luckily, Balthier is here to make sure that it's not really a problem for us, since he can just steal that terrible blessing buff. He can also cleanse these annoying debuffs as needed, because they are kind of a hassle when they happen. So here, I might have forgotten about the magic absorb, or maybe I just timed it perfectly, because I'm really good at the game. So this worked out exactly as I'd hoped. That big absorb they did ended up doing nothing, and now we have Y'shtola's burst effect to play with, and that's going to be just great. But Bl'Art, you'll say, at some point Y'shtola surely has to continue, is surely going to give them a bunch of brave at the wrong time. They're going to kill someone, right? And in my last run that I tried doing with this team, you might be right, but this time I have a secret weapon, and that is spamming the hell out of Medica 2. Which is a free turn, batteries the party so it satisfies the orb, and at least before the reductions kick in, and will generally not high turn rate her as much as Stone would have. So this is just this is an absolute win. For those of you relatively new to using Zack, especially when in the situation we have here where Y'shtola is sitting right next to him, you generally want to use his skill 1, Chain Slash, if it's going to be capping damage, because it is a higher ceiling, but Rush Assault has a lower floor, and so if you're not sure if you'll be able to just deal capped hits, or max damage, then Rush Assault would be a safer bet. Obviously, they're both just good skills to use. And that's why I'm using it here, get that turn rate boost. So at this point, I'm a little bit nervous because Zach's down to 1 stack on his LD, and I'm nervous because it's a magic type attack. So I'm gonna actually summon here in order to refresh his stacks without having to like let them fall off. It'll also give me a free use of Chain Slash, which is nice, but downside is it batteries these guys to holy hell. So the summon is the safest way for me to refresh that without it putting us into a really uncomfortable position, you know? This also pushes us past the 50% threshold. So we're just going to go ahead and take advantage of that increased Brave damage cap from the Divine Summon one more time, or not Brave, Held Brave Summon? I forget the name of the cap, but anyway. There we go. Shiva keeping us more or less safe from those threshold attacks. Balthier's going to go ahead and use his delightful LD. So much utility in that move. It's really great that Balthier's good again. When he dropped in Global earlier this year, he was just tremendous as an aura support and as a utility player for getting you through a lot of challenging fights like the Centipedes or Arciela's Lost Chapter. So it's great to see him still, now that he's gotten this damage tune-up, really just putting in work. You love to see it. So here we go, just continuing to work our way towards 30%, the last threshold. At this point, Y'shtola's run out of her burst effect, and we need to do something about that. And what I'm going to do here is bring in the Bart's Base Call, which applies the Wind Imperil aura and enchants the Caller. So this means Y'shtola can go through her burst phase, dealing weakness damage as opposed to being absorbed, which is just great. I mean, doing like, 7 turns of just giving them a bunch of Brave would have been lame as hell. So here we get to actually have some decent damage come out of it, relative to what Y'shtola was doing earlier. We're just about on the cusp of that 30%. We're probably going to go over it right now. Yep, there we are. Perfect. So one last threshold attack to deal with, and Balthier will go ahead and... There we go. Gotten rid of. We should have the juice in the tank we need to get through this. Oh yeah, of course, you probably noticed the orb has not really been a problem this fight, because Zach refunds, so like crazy, so he's taking the orb up. Y'shtola refunds a whole lot, Balthier refunds a whole lot, there's battery everywhere, so this team is really quite well cut out to deal with this fight. Honestly, the challenge was getting past that first wave, and that's why I just brought Twins in and annihilated it. My god, Zach, calm down, holy shit. It really is tremendous. This is before he even gets his BT, right? Sure, I'm glad I didn't skip that. I should have been spamming a lot more great aims with Balthier too. Look at that damage. They did him right. The one thing I'll say is Balthier's not a solo support. He needs to be supplemented, but he's a great kind of third slot character to kind of cover a bunch of different needs for the party. Anyway, there's one down. Let's finish this up. Balthier, take us away. Boom. Alright, there you have it. Well, it wasn't a no green run, but it was one less green than my last run. I had a good time with it. I hope you did too. Y'shtola going through this. Good times. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Adios.